You ever poured your energy into something? Studying late, training hard, showing up day after day, only to feel as if nothing is moving. You look around, and other people seem to be sprinting ahead while your life stays still. It can be exhausting to keep watering a dream that shows no sign of sprouting. Doubt creeps in. Maybe I'm not talented enough. Maybe I chose the wrong path. Maybe the silence means I should stop. But what if the silence isn't a sentence? It's a season. What if the quiet months, the hidden work, the lonely consistency are doing something you cannot yet see? Today's story is about a farmer, a field, and a seed that refuses to show itself, until one day it rises with a speed and strength that shocks everyone who once laughed. This is not just a tale about plants. It's a mirror for every goal you have ever nursed in the dark. Stay with this story till the end. The lesson of the bamboo tree may change how you measure progress, how you interpret delay, and how you treat the unseen foundations of your future. Because sometimes, growth is not absent, it is undercover. And sometimes, the roots you are building in silence are the very reason you will stand tall when the storm finally comes. Long ago, in a quiet village surrounded by rolling hills and green fields, there lived a humble farmer named Liang. His hands were rough from years of labor, yet his heart carried a quiet dream. Unlike other villagers who planted rice or wheat to feed their families quickly, Liang carried in his pocket a few small bamboo seeds. To the eyes of others, they looked ordinary, almost worthless. But Liang believed that if nurtured, these tiny seeds could one day become something extraordinary. One bright spring morning, he carefully pressed them into the soil of his field. Every day after that, he carried buckets of water from the river and poured them gently over the patch of earth. He loosened the soil, removed the weeds, and protected it from wandering animals. For months he waited. When nothing happened, he whispered to the ground, "Grow strong. I will not give up on you." A year passed, and still the earth remained bare. Neighbors laughed as they harvested their crops of rice and wheat. "Liang," they teased, "you water an empty field. You waste your sweat on dirt." Another year slipped by, then another. 4 years, 5 years. Still, no green shoots broke through the soil. Doubt began to whisper in Liang's own heart. At night, he stared at the barren patch and wondered if he had been foolish. Was his dream no more than a fantasy? Yet each morning he rose with the same determination, shoulders heavy with buckets of water, faith heavy in his chest. Though the ground gave him nothing to see, Liang chose to believe that something unseen was happening beneath the surface. Somewhere deep in the dark soil, he trusted, life was preparing itself for a moment no one could yet imagine. One late afternoon, as the sun dipped low and painted the fields with a golden glow, an old traveler passed through the village. His hair was silver, his steps slow, yet his eyes carried a light of wisdom. He noticed Liang pouring water on the same empty patch of land. Curious, the traveler stopped and asked, "Young man, why do you spend your days watering soil that shows you nothing? For 5 years you have worked here, and still there is no plant, no harvest. Why not choose another crop? One that will reward you sooner?" Liang wiped the sweat from his brow and lowered his gaze. "I know it looks foolish," he admitted softly. "The others laugh at me, and sometimes I wonder if they are right. But deep in my heart, I believe something is happening beneath the surface. I cannot see it, but I feel it. Growth takes time, and not all growth is visible." The traveler nodded, his lips curling into a gentle smile. He crouched down, ran his fingers across the soil, and whispered as though speaking to the earth itself. Then he looked at Liang and said, "You are right to believe. Life has its seasons. Some seeds sprout quickly and wither just as fast. Others stay hidden, building strength where no one can see, until one day they rise with a power unstoppable." Liang listened, the words sinking into his tired heart. For years he had carried faith alone, but now, hearing it spoken aloud by a man who seemed to know more than the eye could see, his spirit felt lighter. The traveler placed a hand on Liang's shoulder and added, "Do not lose heart. Keep watering. What grows unseen may one day grow beyond all measure." As the old man walked away, Liang stood taller than before. His doubt did not vanish, but his hope burned steadier. He returned to his patch of soil, ready once more to wait, to work, and to believe. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and the years continued to roll on like an endless river. Every morning, Liang carried his buckets from the riverbank, water sloshing against the rim, shoulders aching, hands blistered. The soil drank the water, yet it gave him nothing back. He weeded, he tilled, he whispered words of encouragement, but the field stayed bare. The villagers shook their heads in pity and mockery. "He is stubborn," some said. "He has lost his mind," others laughed. Children pointed at the empty patch and giggled as they passed. With each remark, a seed of doubt tried to root itself in Liang's heart. At night, lying on his straw mat, he asked himself, "What if they are right? What if I have wasted the best years of my life chasing a dream that will never appear?" There were mornings when he lingered by his door, tempted to leave the buckets behind and follow the easier road, plant quick crops, live like the rest, let go of this silent hope. But then he remembered the traveler's words, "What grows unseen may one day grow unstoppable." Those words were like a lantern in the dark, and with renewed resolve, Liang lifted the buckets once more. Year 5 arrived. His back was older, his hair sprinkled with gray, and still there was nothing. The ridicule grew louder. 5 years. He could have built a house, bought land, raised animals. Instead, he watered dirt. The laughter of the crowd cut deeper than any blade. Yet Liang kept going. His faith was no longer loud and fiery. It had become quiet, steady, like the beating of his heart. Then, one spring morning, just as dawn broke, Liang noticed a shift. The soil, once flat and lifeless, showed the tiniest crack. From it pushed a fragile shoot of green, no taller than his thumb. Liang fell to his knees, tears welling in his eyes. After 5 years of emptiness, life had finally revealed itself. And then something extraordinary happened. Within a week, the shoot doubled in height. Within a month, it towered over his head. Villagers gathered, astonished, as the bamboo surged skyward. 3 meters, 5, 10, 20. In only 6 weeks, the once barren field became a forest of bamboo so tall and strong that even the wind bent in respect. Those who mocked him now stared in awe. "How is this possible?" they asked. "How can something invisible for years grow so tall in such a short time?" Some even knelt beside Liang's field, running their fingers along the sturdy stalks, whispering disbelief. But Liang understood. He knew that during those silent years, the bamboo had not been idle. Beneath the ground, it had been weaving a vast network of roots, spreading deep and wide, anchoring itself in secret. What the eye could not see, time had been preparing. Only when the roots were strong enough did the shoots rise to the sky. As Liang stood in the shade of the towering bamboo, a smile touched his lips. The laughter of the past no longer stung. It had been replaced by the music of wind whistling through leaves. His waiting had not been wasted. His struggle had not been empty. Every drop of water, every day of patience, every night of doubt had been building toward this moment. And though his neighbors marveled at the sudden growth, Liang knew the truth. It was not sudden at all. It was the slowest, deepest work of all, the kind that happens when no one is watching. As the bamboo grove swayed high above the village, whispers of wonder spread from house to house. People who once mocked Liang now came to him with wide eyes, eager to understand what they had witnessed. How could a field sleep for 5 years, they asked, and then suddenly become a forest almost overnight? Liang himself was humbled by the sight. He returned to the same patch of soil where he had once knelt in despair, and he remembered the old traveler's words, "What grows unseen may one day grow unstoppable." In that moment, he realized the bamboo had been teaching him all along. For 5 silent years, it had not been idle. It had been building a foundation that no storm could uproot. The roots were spreading deep and wide, strong enough to carry the weight of towering stalks. Without those hidden years, there could be no visible glory. And so Liang spoke to the villagers. "Do you see? The years that looked empty were not wasted. The work was happening in secret. Growth does not always announce itself. Sometimes it hides, preparing for a strength that will last." His words echoed in their hearts, because each of them carried dreams that felt buried, hopes that seemed forgotten. Now they began to see their own struggles differently. The lesson of the bamboo is the lesson of life itself. When you study for months and feel you have learned nothing, when you practice a skill and stumble again and again, when you pray or work or strive yet see no result, remember the bamboo. What looks like nothing is often the deepest kind of preparation. In real life, success stories often hide long years of silence. The athlete trains before anyone knows his name. The writer fills pages no one reads. The entrepreneur faces failures in the shadows before the world calls him an overnight success. Like the bamboo, their roots are spreading, unseen but unstoppable. And perhaps this is what faith truly is, not believing when results are visible, but holding on when nothing shows. Liang's bamboo reminds us that every drop of effort matters, even when no one notices. One day, when the time is right, all those hidden roots will break through the surface. The growth will come so swiftly, so powerfully, that those who doubted will stand in awe. So if you are in your season of waiting, if your field looks barren and people laugh at your faith, do not despair. Keep watering, keep tending, keep believing. Your roots are growing strong, and when the moment comes, you too will rise tall, like the bamboo tree. Evidence that unseen perseverance always brings visible transformation. As the seasons turned, the grove of bamboo became more than just a wonder of nature. It became a living reminder to everyone in the village. Children played in its shade, elders rested beneath its tall stalks, and travelers paused to marvel at its strength. Each time the wind rushed through the leaves, it carried a song of patience, faith, and hidden perseverance. Liang would often walk through the grove at sunrise. The golden light filtered through the stalks, and he would smile, remembering the years of silence. What once seemed like emptiness now revealed itself as preparation. He realized that the greatest growth of all had not only been in the bamboo, but also in himself. The ridicule had forged resilience. The waiting had taught him humility. The unseen had deepened his faith. And so the bamboo became more than a plant. It became a symbol that whispered to every dreamer, Do not give up when nothing shows. Roots are growing. Strength is forming. Your time will come. In life, many of us are like Liang, carrying water each day toward a dream that still sleeps beneath the surface. We wonder if our work is wasted, if our faith is foolish. But the truth is this: every unseen effort matters. Every act of discipline, every step of consistency, every choice to keep going is building the roots of your future. So, when your heart feels weary and the world tells you to quit, remember the bamboo tree. Remember that growth you cannot see is still growth. Trust that one day the shoots will rise, the forest will appear, and the world will finally see what you knew all along. That patience and faith never fail those who endure. If this story of the bamboo tree touched your heart, share it with someone who may be standing in their own season of waiting. Perhaps they need the reminder that unseen effort is never wasted, and that faith can turn silence into strength. Don't forget to like this video if it inspired you, and leave a comment below sharing what lesson you are carrying away today. Your words may encourage someone else on their journey, and most importantly, subscribe to Inspire Through Stories so you won't miss the next tale of hope, wisdom, and courage. One story can change everything. Let the next one change you.